Hey, welcome into the channel, guys. Wednesday, December 11th, 2024, when I'm recording this. I just want to give you guys a little warning. I try not to do too much of this video coverage, but I do want to do this one because it is pretty shocking and pretty crazy. And all props to Vanessa over at Vad is Rad on YouTube. I'll link her below. If you don't already follow her, you definitely should be subscribed to her YouTube channel and following her videos. Every scam, scheme, and bad person on the reselling or in the reselling community, she's got it covered. So definitely go subscribe and follow that channel over there, Vanessa's Vad is Rad channel. So with that said, she was sent an Instagram message about a company that apparently had $120,000 worth of authentic designer purses, bags, things of that nature that were stolen from their business location. This is up north in the Northeast, New Jersey, New York area. And they were sent, and this company was called Liz Sonnen Bags. I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. They were, and this was a couple days ago, they were sent a live stream of a WhatNot show where people were actually selling their bags. Literally, they were able to compare one of the brands with the serial number of the bag in the WhatNot show, and it matched. And so they, I guess, went and looked up the company that was on WhatNot selling the bags and found out where they were located, which I guess must not have been too far away. They jumped in their car and they drove to the business location. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to follow in on this story here. But let me just preface this by saying, first of all, everything in this video is alleged. So this is according to everything that we are hearing and seeing. Second of all, if you find that somebody has stolen your merchandise or you find a criminal, it is always best to never confront criminals or alleged criminals or even third parties to the criminal activity. In this case, what might have happened directly. Please call the police and law enforcement, even if it seems frustrating or that they may or may not do anything. Give them a chance. Do not put yourself in a bad situation. So let me tell you, I'll tell you this story by telling you a story that happened to me probably 10, 12 years ago in my old building. I think a lot of you didn't know me back then. I had a building full of cell phones. We had a break-in overnight, like 3 o'clock in the morning. And the alarms went off, but nobody was able to get to the building or the police for over 30 minutes. The crooks were in and out, according to the security footage we had, in like 3 minutes. They broke the front glass door. It was like a glass door. They shattered it with a giant boulder and they got in. The alarm started going off. They went right to a bunch of stuff. They got out. They were gone. The next day, we caught them at another shop that a friend of mine owned trying to sell the merchandise. Well, some of it was recovered, not all of it. So the pieces that were not recovered were very unique. And I went on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, and Facebook Marketplace was very, very new at the time. I don't even know that it definitely existed. People were posting stuff on Facebook, but not like they do now. And I think I found it on Craigslist. I found the merchandise for sale. I messaged them and I arranged to meet them at a gas station right near the police, right near the jail and the police station, actually. And like an idiot, I did not call the police. I got there, I got out of the car. It was not the thieves, because the thieves were in jail. It was people they had obviously given the merchandise to sell, or they had sold it too cheap who was flipping it. They had it in a bag. I looked at the bag. I pretended to be a buying customer. I said, oh, hey, yeah, this stuff's great. And I stood right next to the door of my, I was driving a Hummer at the time. I used to own a black Hummer. And I was standing right near the front, fender and the door. And I just was like, oh yeah, let me think about it. And he's like, what are we doing? You going to buy it? You going to buy it? And I was like, yeah. I said, I really want this stuff, but I don't think I'm going to buy it. And he's like, well, why? Well, why? And I slowly creeped back around my door and I got right to the point of jumping. I said, because it belongs to me. And I tossed it in the Hummer and I jumped in and I sped off. And they actually followed me out of the gas station. They jumped in their car real fast, took off after me, and they flashed a gun in the window. They could have very easily shot into my car. It was a bad move. It was a bad decision. And looking back on it, it was dumb. Thankfully, it worked out. I got my stuff back, but it could have been really, really bad, right? They could have shot me as I got into my car. There's any number of things that could have happened. True story. And unfortunately, Kate was in the passenger seat of the SUV at the time. So don't ever go after criminals. Okay, so let's fast forward to this. They drove over to the location. Of course, they called the police. This was 9:30 at night, apparently. And I'm going to put screenshots of this stuff up here. And this is all credit given to Vanessa Vadizrad. She did the screenshotting and the research on this. So keep that in mind. So rule number one, don't try to apprehend criminals on your own. Okay, so this company, Liz Sonnenberg, and I guess it's probably her husband, they provided security footage, which I'll put screenshots of everything I'm talking about up here that Vanessa put in the video that I'm going to link below on her channel. And that's the thieves stealing 60 bags, apparently. So at approximately $2,000 a piece, you guys can do the math. And then there's pictures and video from the WhatNot show. One of the items with the matching serial numbers that I mentioned, and also one of the items with a set of some wear marks on it from like the big gold, chains that make up the strap. It made some defining wear marks, and that's exactly what was on the item being shown on WhatNot. So again, I'll put this up there. You guys can see it. So the evidence is pretty damning that they are the same items. They went to the location, they took a picture of the vehicle, and they talked about on their Instagram stealing it back, but not a good idea. Again, I did that many, many years ago. I wasn't my matured and business savvy self as I am right now 10 to 15 years ago. I probably started learning what to do and not to do about 8 to 10 years ago. 13, 14 years ago when this happened, probably more like 12, 13, I would guess. So I'm thinking it was like 2020 or 2012. I'm trying to remember when I was in that building. I think it was 2011 to 2012. I was just mad. I was angry. I was, what are we talking about? I was 25 years old, 26 years old. I was pissed, right? I wanted my stuff back, and that was that. Nowadays, I understand that it's not the way things work, and criminals are crazy, but you can't do what they did, and that was just not smart. Calling police was a good idea. You could drive to the location and park across the street, park off their property, and call the police and wait, but you can't go and approach them. You can't steal your stuff back. You can't confront them. You can't knock on the door. There's a lot of things you should not do, especially for that large of an amount of money. Now, the Luxellen people that were selling it on WhatNot, they have claimed that they did not know they were in possession of stolen merchandise. They also say that they were sent harassing messages, threatening messages, that their employees were threatened. Again, I'm going to put these screenshots up so you can see them. And big thanks to Vanessa for compiling all of this. That may be true. They may not be the thieves. They probably weren't the people in that building stealing the merchandise, and that's all good and fine. But if you buy stolen merchandise, if you don't know it and you're buying it that cheap, you probably should know it, right? Like, ignorance is no excuse of the law. Again, I'm not saying one way or the other if they did or didn't know, because I wasn't there. I'm not them. I'm not going to accuse them of anything. However, I have purchased merchandise in the past where I got a call the next day from somebody with a too good to be true. They were sort of testing me on the first purchase and then bringing me a ridiculous purchase the next time. And I turned it down. And I said, yeah, this isn't going to fly. Like, I know exactly what's going on here. We're done. Right. So that is something you should be well aware of. Also, it looks as though the serial numbers were torn off of some of these, not all of them. Again, the one had a matching serial number, but it looks like serial numbers were removed from them. We don't know if the thieves did that, if the seller did that on WhatNot. I would imagine thieves probably do that if they're trying to sell stuff that's hot, very cheap. You become what's known as a fence. So a fence is somebody that moves stolen merchandise. They get it usually at a very deep discount. They buy it and they sell it on places like eBay or Amazon or what have you. Now, the law says knowingly selling stolen or knowingly dealing in stolen merchandise, right? And that's not to say you can't get in trouble unknowingly. You can still get in trouble for receiving stolen merchandise, even if you didn't really know it. You should have known it, or if the police determine you probably should have known it, yes, you can get in trouble. But if you knowingly sold merchandise that was stolen, or that you had a good idea that was stolen, it's definitely a crime. And in most states, over a certain amount, here in Florida, I believe it's 400 or 350, 400. It's not much. It becomes a felony. We all know the California law. Feel free to comment if you do. And sorry to all of you that live in California. So that's the story. Now, since then, Vanessa Vadizrad did a update where the police showed up, and the WhatNot seller turned over allegedly 10 of the 60 bags to law enforcement. Now, how many did they keep? How many did they sell on WhatNot or another platform and it's already shipped? We don't know. The police will investigate that further. But at the time of recording, or at least at the time of Vanessa's video, they were suspended from WhatNot. So I'll slow clap WhatNot on suspending their account. Have they gotten their account back? I don't know. Or do they have multiple accounts? I'm not sure, but it looks like they were suspended still. So thank God that happened. Why won't WhatNot take that step for more people? Is Luxella just not a big seller? They're not bringing in enough money to where it matters to WhatNot's, bottom line to their pocketbook. Who knows? But with all that said, that's kind of the update. So the lesson here, 3 lessons. One, don't approach people that have stolen your merchandise or criminals. Don't try to confront them yourself. 2, if you're on WhatNot and you're a buyer, be very, very careful. Apparently, a lot of people went into the WhatNot show and said, this is stolen stuff. Here's the message. If you're in the show and you see something like that, believe people. They're not just trolls. They're not trolling somebody's random WhatNot show to tell you that they're stolen merchandise to help people they don't know not buy it. It's probably because they're working on good information. And at this point, in this particular situation, they were, right? Like they had a very good situational source that told them this stuff is stolen and here's the evidence, here's the serial number, here's the thing. Take it seriously, right? Like you don't want to be in possession. You won't go to jail for that, for buying something stolen off of WhatNot, but you can certainly lose your money and lose the item. They could come for you. They could ask you, hey, you need to return this. We're going to subpoena you. We're going to do this. Will it happen? Maybe, maybe not, but you don't want to be in the middle of that, right? So lay that on. Lesson 3 is that there's still bad people on WhatNot, and WhatNot refuses to do anything about it. This is actually the first one I've seen, and I've been watching all of these. I haven't seen any others taken down. I know there have been others taken down. I just haven't seen it. I've heard of it, but this is the first one I've seen first person, POV right here. Point of view, I'm watching it. And the last lesson here is why I don't deal in designer bags, purses, scarves, wallets, clutches. There is just so much fake Louis Vuitton, Burberry, Coach, Prada, Gucci, you name it. If it's designer high end, it is faked a lot. And it is also stolen a lot. People go into these stores, they go into designer secondhand boutiques, they go into secondhand, consignment shops, which this appears to have been Liz and Sodden's bags. I don't know her story, but it looks like she owns probably a nice high-end designer store or consignment shop or boutique, something like that from the security footage. That's what it looks like. So these stores are heavily targeted because crooks know and thieves know that they're full of high-end designer merchandise. It's expensive and it's easy to fence. It's easy to find buyers for this stuff. And you can just get rid of it quickly and cheaply and make your money and move on. And so that's why I don't deal in this stuff. There's just way too much risk and too much bullshit to deal with. Now, also, I don't deal with it because I'm not a woman. I'm not into this stuff. It doesn't do anything for me. I am not in that market or in that niche. I'm not in that community of women that are buying this sort of stuff, mostly women. And I don't know the first thing about it. I don't know the prices. I don't know the history. I don't know how to tell the fakes from the reals. Burberry is a designer brand that I actually do know a little bit about. I wear watches from Burberry. I have wallets from Burberry. So I know a little bit. I have some swimming trunks, shorts, different things. And I've purchased Kate some purses and clutches and swimsuits from Burberry. But that's probably the only one I would even feel remotely close to on certain items that I would maybe flip. But I still stay away from it. I've been offered it in the past and I've stayed away. So that's my lessons for today, guys. Don't be a bad person. Don't steal. Don't sell stolen stuff. Don't deal in stolen stuff. And if you can avoid it, don't buy stolen stuff. Do your research on who you're buying and selling from on the internet, especially if you are shopping on a live selling platform, be it WhatNot or any other platforms, because that's where this was happening. So I'll leave you with that lesson today on December the 11th, 2024. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please, as always, use the comment section. You can also email me 7 days a week, rockstarflipper@gmail.com. And if you're interested in me fixing your eBay store, I have officially helped 400 plus stores, I'm losing count now, fix their eBay store, fix their sales, and do better, make more money. Email me, rockstarflipper@gmail.com. I will also put links down below to 1 week, 2 week, and 4 week store reviews that you can buy directly. They're on sale. You can also purchase my 2025 reseller and social media training bundle, which you can add and upsell to a store review for even cheaper if you'd rather do that. So all those links will be below. You can find them in the description box and in my pinned top comment. Enjoy your evening, everybody. It's Wednesday afternoon. I hope the rest of the week is awesome for you, and I'll talk to you real soon.